So we're gonna be on everybody's camera. Holy crap! Did it scare you?
I shut my mouth.
You shut it off.
Immediately go into cleaning and taking care of the gun. They'll wet sponge, they'll worm the gun out to clean anything out that's left. They used a cloth sack. So everything burned up to put their powder in there, pre-measured powder. It was in a cloth sack. We use aluminum foil because it's safer. So we have to worm every time. We have to clean it out every time. They did not do that step. They would skip that step because the cloth sack would completely burn up from the explosion. So they could skip that step. We cannot. They would just run a wet sponge in, be ready to load again. We'll have to worm out what's left of the powder cartridge. Okay, we're safe for y'all to go down. If you want to take pictures, ask questions, whatever you'd like to do. Remember, don't be smoking down around the guns and especially around the lips.
Yeah. You need to be filming all of it. I'm going up here to sit down.
Where are you going? We gotta go. We gotta take him back. Let's go see what your medicine was.
What's funny?
The thing is the tree fall. Like a blank. You got my idea. Too old for this.
I hadn't even been on my feet long, and I had to sit there. You've been out here up on your feet.
And on the other side of where it's mine. Her name's Grace.
Oh, over there? Oh, well, I have to get a picture.
So I turn back
You
on.
need to,
I turn back on the camera.
you need to film inside.
Film inside.
Yeah.
You like to?
Thank you.
I don't even know if it can see it or not. It's so hard to.
With the sun like it is.
Mm-hmm.
Film the outside so they.
There's a book here for the film. And they were in charge. Over you.
Whether it's from
Yeah, from something else down
bad
there. The river there.
water,
You see that?
then any of the weapons that you guys see here today. Big
You can
cannons.
get down there and see the river.
As much as you guys see as well, more people are going to die of disease than those weapons outright. Okay? So when you guys go home or when you guys tour Johnsonville and see the other things, remember that when you open your fridge and complain about not having any food to eat, these soldiers had a lot harder time. And remember how great you have it when you go to your tap water and you get a glass of water out of your sink. You don't have to worry about whether it's clean or dirty. Okay? So just keep that in mind as you guys tour the park and you go home. If you guys do have questions, feel free to let me know. Other than that, you'll have a great day. Thank you.
Yeah. No,
And y'all can pause and read that.
Cold one.
it's it's just 3 sticks and it's got rope tied around it. And then I got a bowl sitting there. He did like a figure 8 with the, How are y'all doing?
Good, how are you?
All right. I get wore out now. I bet y'all been at it since early. Yeah. And yesterday he was up at 5:30. And then I got up a little bit before 7. Today we got up about 7:15. We slept a little late. Yeah. Did y'all sleep out here?
Let me know how much blood you actually do have. You've got about 7 pints, actually. Unless you're a very large person, you might have 8. But most of us have got about 7. This is how George Washington was killed by his doctors. He had a sore throat. That's all he had. And doctors had come to his house to tend to his sore throat. And the first doctor came and bled Washington from the sides of his neck. So again, in close proximity to what his complaint was. And he took roughly a pint and a half of his blood. And Washington did not feel any better. And a second doctor came. And ultimately a third doctor came. And they all bled him, and they all took about the same amount of blood. And Washington dies, believe it or not, less than a day later. Well, he died because he has 7 pints of blood. They took 4.5, leaving him only 2.5, which is not enough for a human body to live on. So Washington died from blood loss. We know about Washington because he was famous. But there was a lot of people that were not famous. Thousands and thousands of people maybe over the course of history that died at the hands of their doctors the same way. So now when you go to the doctor, you expect to get better. You've got a certain amount of confidence, a certain amount of faith in your physician that he is educated enough and he's experienced enough, he knows what to do, that you're going to get better. In the 19th century, that was not so. It was kind of a crapshoot, as to whether or not you were going to get better or not. They didn't have much faith in doctors. In fact, soldiers in the Civil War, even if you were wounded, you did not want to go to the hospital. You would try to avoid it at all costs. Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. And I know a little bit of how that feels, that I don't want to go because I don't trust them. There's been more than one case of men who were not critically wounded, who had time to lay there and think about it, as they watched the surgeons operate on others and things.
Like butchers.
And they decided that I don't think I'll take my chances, and they would just simply crawl off into the bushes somewhere and wait, and see what happened. And most of the time, they survived and they kept their appendage, whatever it was that was wounded. Sometimes surgeons were a little anxious, a little overzealous in removing limbs. They felt, I guess, like it was, let's avoid the trouble. If you keep this, you're going to get an infection, and we're going to have to amputate later. Thanks for coming out, guys. But still, I'll take my chances.
You've got these pill bottles over there. Drugs.
Yes.
What kind of drugs do they prescribe like anything?
Well, they had quite a variety of things. And for the most part, the lady, my wife next door, can tell you a lot more about the medications. But now, for example, this would have been opium pills. Now, opium was used then, just like it's been used for centuries to treat pain. It was given in
something that actually works. No.
Right.
Well, most wars, if you think about it, medicine just escalates after.
Yes,
that.
leaps
They're-
and bounds because doctors learn so much.
Yeah.
It's sad the
It
way they
is.
have to learn it. But you know, sometimes it's the hard ways are the only way to learn.
That's true. That's true. Wow. Boys, did you learn anything? Gotta be a test.
Thank you so much.
Test at the top of the hill.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Let's go see your husband. You want to?
Is this all medicine?
Yes, this is herbal medicine. Not folklore. This is totally science, but this is herbal medicine. It was used during the Civil War. Yeah.
It don't look like nothing like today, huh?
Oh no, no. It's not a lot like today at all. There's some things are the same. You've heard of aspirin?
Yeah.
Okay. Aspirin has a chemical in it called salicylic acid. Well, that was derived originally from these little twigs, which are willow twigs.
Huh.
And they contain acetylsalicylic acid. And so we were just showing them, I was putting it in a tea for a headache. So
Yeah.
if you had a headache, you would drink a tea with that. And it might take several cups for it
Right.
to relieve you, but it would eventually relieve your headache.
Huh. That's cool.
Yeah.
But this was,
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
My grandmother, well, my great-grandmother, she still believes in herbal stuff.
Oh, I definitely do. It's a lot better for your body
Yeah.
than the chemicals.
All that man-made product ain't worth nothing, is it?
You know, sometimes I think that it is, you know, antibiotics.
Yeah.
They've saved a lot of lives, but they've also messed up a lot of lives.
Yeah.
But these, they work if you know what you're doing.
They had an antibiotic in herbal form back then?
Well, they didn't have any understanding yet of viruses or bacteria.
Oh, okay.
Germ theory had not come around to this part of the world yet. It was being talked about in Europe, but it was not accepted here until the late 1870s, so well after the Civil War. But they had drugs made from herbs that did kill viruses and bacteria, like elderberries and golden seal. Those things are antiviral and antibacterial. And most moms knew, well, if their child was exhibiting symptoms of a cold, they knew if they gave them elderberry, syrup or tincture, that it would cut the cold short and they wouldn't be sick as long.
Yeah.
They just didn't know what was happening in their body. They didn't know about virus, but they knew they were better if they gave them that.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, come on over.
Pictures?
So that's the chemistry that you would need to make pictures during the Civil War.
Wow.
We've put those out there so that you can read the labels and see just what type of concoctions were used for this safe and easy process.
I see that.
Yeah.
Don't let the skull and crossbones fool you.
Yeah, yes. Don't try this at home.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah. You had to know a little bit about chemistry so you didn't wake up dead. So you had to know to keep your bases away from your acids so you didn't liberate that cyanide gas. But as long as you could do that, then you could make beautiful images.
And now people just presses a button, you know it?
I know, isn't it crazy?
Take it for granted,
So
don't
it
we?
takes us 15 minutes from start to finish to make one picture. In fact, this is one, and we've run out of light. The last one for the day that we can take, we tried to get a picture of the ladies doing their laundry. But that was a 30-second exposure. So really and truly to get them good and bright, like, well, even that one wasn't bright, but to be like those down there, probably would have taken 45 seconds to a
What's it
minute.
sitting in?
Water,
Oh, okay.
just water. The surgeon, There was a fella came down and said his foot was hurting. The doctor took a look at it and decided that it needed to come off. So we got a picture of that. Yeah. Guy kept saying, "No, just a Band-Aid, just a bandage, please."
Band-Aid, we have a hacksaw.
So the whole reason we're down here is because this fellow, who was contracted by the engineer department of the U.S. military to make military pictures, he would have used, and my camera is still up there from where I was taking a picture, but he would have used a large format camera like that one to make glass negatives to print prints like this from. But he also had a stereo view camera, and that's what didn't break and are known to exist at the National Archives. There are 5 images that he made a few days after the Battle of Johnsonville, this being one of them. And this hill back here is this one. It's from a different angle, but it is this hill here. But here is a stereo viewer, and the school kids yesterday broke our handle, so you're going to need it. It happens. There were only 650 of them yesterday. But so hold the viewer this way, and you'll need to take your glasses off, but then grab this piece right here and move it until that wheel is 1 wheel instead of 2 wheels, and you'll see what I mean. But you can see where things got broken apart. Yeah, there you go.
Got hired on a mouse tail about a year ago.
You can put it in your pocket and when you get back home, just Carlo will
Yep. No, this one lives at Real Foot Lake Station.
We've been to Shiloh. Yeah, we have. It is. When we went, it was raining.
Oh.
Yeah, we're gonna go back.
Yeah, like I said, we're actually at Mousetail. We just finished our raptor enclosure, so we won't have bald eagles. It's kind of hard to get the permits for those. We're in education. We're getting an education. Hawks and owls. So we're gonna have, we've got 2 cages behind our office now. We'll, next spring, definitely have a couple of big raptors that we'll program with also. Well, we'll program with them all year round, but we'll, our SR will do a lot during the summer months. So May through.
So I guess now we're entering the way they had to wash clothes. I don't know.
So I know he's talking about how small the men were.
So they would try how it would be to get all that stinks out of that stuff that's been spreading for so long.
Yeah, except the fabrics, really were different. Like wool really is a good a releaser of odor. So the fabrics they had weren't like ours. I mean, sometimes I think ours are just kind of magnets for odor and stuff. And they would hope to get out most of it by this. This fretboard was really old for something that was like they couldn't get out. They might use a lemon juice.
Huh? Where's that guy at? And that
God, it was a whole lot better than this years ago when I come.
there's
There
not
wasn't
even
near
nowhere.
as much walking, and everything was like it was all right together, I don't like this.
And we ain't even seen the general yet.
You need to sit down.
No, not really, but probably for a second.
I keep farting, hoping I ain't gonna shit on myself.
Do we
And
need?
I ain't
Do we need to
seen
go?
no
Well, that's the
place.
closest bathroom right there.
I ain't seen no places with nothing for sale.